with Miho that we need to listen to. This is part 2 of the Miho interview. Here we go. Let me use this capture so it looks a little bit better. Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to the Heavier Japan and the second half of our exclusive interview with Rosanna Miho.
What do you... Okay. I know you can read that on the screen. Let me back up and do some work here. So just sitting here drinking beer while we're watching this. Why do you think it's difficult for Japanese bands to succeed outside of Japan? This is a question I've been really thinking about for a while. You know, I haven't reacted to a lot of Japanese bands, and some of them are really good, really amazing. It's just they're just not breaking through that barrier. Okay, like what is going on there? And so Miho's gonna give her opinion on it. And I think the closed caption might be cut off by this nice TV that we have here. So I will. Yeah, it is cut off. It says, there always is a language barrier, but the bottom line is if the music and melody is good, I think the lyrics don't necessarily have to be in English. And that's something I brought up too. With Rammstein is a pretty good example about a band that doesn't speak English. They were forced to, with the Du Hast or whatever, they had the English version, but they don't do that anymore. Okay, that was something that their label wanted them to do, I believe. I don't think they actually wanted to do it. But they're a good example of you don't have to actually speak English to break through and become like a mainstream or kind of quasi-main. Rammstein's pretty mainstream, I think. For if you go metal in America, okay, if you're an American and thinking metal bands, Rammstein will eventually appear. You know, it's going to be like Metallica. Oh. Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, Slipknot, you know. Anyway. Eventually, Rammstein will appear. You know, Korn, stuff like that. Anyway. So, is it just a language barrier? You know, that's something I really want you guys to help me out with. Because I don't think so. You know, I think Miho is right here when she says that the lyrics don't necessarily have to be in English as long as the melody is good. Okay. In my opinion, the Japanese market is big enough that everything is conclusively domestically. So she says there's a big enough metal scene in Japan for I guess domestic audience. I say domestic audience. That doesn't sound right at all. So there's a big enough metal scene in Japan that they don't have to travel out. They could stay local and still do fine. That's what I'm getting. And then it seems like she says here, it's difficult for the label or management to actually get involved in the worldwide market. There's a lot of things you have to get in, factor. They are a small island nation. Now the internet has become very useful. Touring is expensive, though. I mean, if European bands can do it, Japanese bands should be able to do it just fine. And what I said earlier, they're a small island nation. What the hell does that even mean? Well, how does that even factor? That's a dumb thing I said. That's not even a good point. That's not even a point at all. She's saying that it's difficult for management to get involved in the worldwide market. Well, why is that? Do they want to get involved or do they not want to get involved? I kind of think at this point it's like they don't want to get involved. That they can just do things locally for Japan and not really worry about anything else. Or let them tour in Europe, but America doesn't seem to be a main thing. I mean, it happens every once in a while. Actually, bands like Bandmade. It happens. It happens. Shit, Nimafilla was in the States. But, of course, maybe that'll change over time.
もうちょっと昔よりは広げやすくなったのかなというところで
It's
今
become easier to expand yourself. That's probably why there are more bands aiming to extend their activities internationally. Okay. Up until now, it wasn't really necessary for a Japanese band to go abroad since we had sufficient market domestically. In a way, that was good. But that may also have been one reason why not many bands made it out of Japan. Okay. All right. That's interesting. That kind of explains it there. That it's not about the language barrier or about the melodies not being good, the songs not being good. It's because they don't need to. Because they didn't want to. You know why? A band like Maximum the Hormone would have done well in America. Dude, are you like anyone who says anyone who argues against that? Like, are you kidding me? I know they're compared to other new metal bands because they have a similar sound in their songs, but that similar sound is what makes them sellable. Are you kidding me? Like, they would have done well, like late 90s, 2000s, shit like that. Okay, they would have done well, but they weren't. No one really knew about them. If you were an American listening to metal, you probably had no idea that Maximum the Hormone even existed. Any bands that have the potential to make it outside of Japan. Let's guess. She's going to mention Bandmade or Nimafilla. There was one female metal band that played in the U.S. recently called Nimafilla. Ah, yes, and she's going to be playing with the guitarist, Saki, and Down Dope Squad.
ネモフィラっていうバンドはもともと知名度のあるメンバーが YouTube でカバーセッションから始まったバンドで、ここからオリジナルバンドとしてちゃんとオリジナル曲も出して、今ちょうどアメリカ公演をやっていて、LOVEBITESはアメリカ
See, she even recognized Nimafilla as a cover band. Go back. Let's see. There's one female metal band that played in the U.S. recently called Nimafilla, and she described them as they're a group of established musicians that formed a cover project on YouTube. So, if you thought Nimafilla was just a cover band, guess what? Even Miho thought that too. Okay? All right? It's understandable. But they're not just a cover band. They did their own stuff.
YouTube でカバーセッションから始まったバンドで、ここからオリジナルバンドとしてちゃんとオリジナル曲も出して、今ちょうど
Went to record originals. Their debut album was very successful. They just did a successful show in the U.S. They did. LOVEBITES never really made it to the U.S., but they have potential. If they were looking forward to see a Japanese metal band succeed in the U.S. market. Also, I have a friend that plays in a symphonic death metal band.
シンフォニックデスメタルなんですけど、セレニティ・マーダーっていう
band is called Serenity and Murder. I've not heard of that.
ですけどバンドがあって、その女性ボーカルと男性の
Singer is female and is accompanied by a male. Musicianship is totally high quality. Their artwork is great too. Okay. Looking forward to see what they do in the future. I like her Metallica shirt, Master of Puppets. Which country did you enjoy visiting? Okay. Favorite place is that she visited the most times, which is London in the UK. England is the home of heavy metal. It's the place where favorite bands were born. City of Fog, as they say. Just like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, there was the indescribable humidity I felt. Completely different humidity. it was like the guitar sound was created in this damp air.
ギターサウンドが生まれたんだなっていうところですごく感動したのを覚えています。今なかなかちょっとこういう感じになってしまったのと、自分もバンドを離れてしま
This the current situation, the fact that I'm not in a band at the moment, I don't have any plans to travel abroad right now. I really hope to travel again when possible. Are there any countries you'd like to visit?
北欧に行ったこと
Actually, I've
がな
never
く
been
て
to Scandinavia. Scandinavia. Oh.
トランジットでフィンランド行ったんですけど
I've
出
been
てはい
through
ない
Finland on transit.
北欧も北
I
欧
would
で
say
やっぱメタルの
Scandinavia is
聖地
also
という
another
か
sacred ground for heavy metal.
フィンランド、スウェーデン
Finland, Sweden, Norway.
特にスウェーデンのバンドが好きなバンドが多いので
Yeah, there's a lot of really good Swedish death metal bands. Really good. Okay?
行ってみたいですね。なるべく真冬
I'd like to
寒す
visit
ぎない時
Sweden.
に行ってみ
But
たい
not
な
during
と
the winter when it's too cold. Okay. All right, what is the band or album she's been listening to lately? Anyone want to take a guess of what this is? I think it's Iron Maiden.
もう新しいバンドはあんまり最近
I haven't been able to dig into many new bands
ちょっとディグれて
recently,
ないんですけど
says.
本当今でちょっと聞
I've
いて
been
るの
listening
は
Pantera.
ちょっと
Pantera. Cool. I like that. Yeah, I got Pantera on my I tailored a playlist just for the motorcycle. Pantera is definitely on that list. Like 5 Minutes Alone, shit like that. Good stuff. Not just Cowboys from Hell. You know, Cowboys from Hell is not even on that list because I've listened to it too many times for me to even. It's a good song, but you know, you just listen to it too many times and it's like, okay.
セッションでカバーをやったのもあるんですけど、パンテラもう再結成が発表になって
They just announced a reunion some time ago. How can they call it a reunion when the founding members are dead? It's not a reunion. That is the wrong way. That's the wrong thing to call. The bassist and the singer are the only members alive. It's more like paying tribute to the brothers. But well, you know, how do you guys feel about that? So, like, you have two of the founding members dead, and they were like pretty core and essential to the band, and they play on with new members like Zach Wilden. Are you good with that? You think the band should have, like, they shouldn't mess with the name? They shouldn't do anything with it because, like, you know, they're dead. Just honor it. Just leave it be. Or you think it's cool for them to? See, I'm torn on that because I get the whole, like, I can kind of get that it's disrespectful and it's wrong in some way. But from a business perspective, it's like they're not going to let it go. It's a name that will sell tickets. It's a name that will make money. So if they could just make it workable again and put that name on the road, put that name on new albums. Oh, they're not going to do that right now, are they? That'd be crazy. First, put it on the road, have a reunion tour. And if people like that, then think about putting out new albums and stuff. Anyway, that will be interesting.
ボーカルのフィルとベースのレックスとギターがザックでドラムが
Zach Wilde and Charlie.
アンスラックスのチャーリーでなって
Anthrax.
見てみたいなという
Yeah,
気
that's right.
持ちと、兄弟がいないパンテ
She even mentions that she has mixed feelings on how she feels about this, watching them without the Abbott brothers.
ラを私はどう思うかななんて思いながらちょっと改めてパンテラ特にファースト
But
が
I've
好
been listening to them again with that in mind, and I really like
き
the
なんです
first
けど
album.
未だにずっと聴いてますね。あとはダウンロードで
She's been listening to a lot of Soulfly. Oh, they're good. They're good. Soulfly.
にするソウルフライがちょっと見てみたくて久々にソウルフライを聴いています。 特にダークエイジスのアルバムが好き
The
なんです。
Dark Ages album. The Dark Ages album. Let me take a look at that album. Let me remind myself what is on that album here. Soulfly. I and I. Yes. Babylon. That's a really good. Oh, Arise Again. Front Lines. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good album. Wait. That's not on. Is that? Yeah, that's on that album. See, when I got into Soulfly, I didn't get into their albums. I was listening to it on like streaming services. So you don't know really. It's not about albums anymore. It's just about like whatever song, I guess. Yeah. Cool.
ですけど、いっぱい新しいメタルバンドがアルバム出したりするんですけど、
I'd say there are a lot of metal bands
本当
putting
持論とし
out
て
albums.
昔
But this-
自分が青春時代に聴いていた音
I
楽
feel nothing beats the music you listen to during your teenage years. Ah, that nostalgia there too. Yeah, in a way, yeah.
を超えるものがない。
You know what's great though? When you discover a band or a song that reminds you of what you used to listen to, but it just takes it to the next level. Sometimes that happens. You're like, where was this gym? Where the fuck was that? And for me, it was when I discovered this band. You probably know about this band. I didn't know anything about this band. When I discovered this band, I was like, what? And I instantly fell in love with it. Let me pull it up here. Savatage, I think is the name. Song Hall of the Mountain King. Come on. I was like, first time I heard this, I was like, instantly sold. I was like, what is this? This is great. Catchy, tight riff. Starting the song off with solos. Okay. Please tell me that the singer sounds great. Please tell me there's a nice, meaty, bassy riff when the singer. That first time I discovered that, I was like, okay. Instantly sold. That was great. But yeah. Anyway.
っていう気持ちがすごくあって、改めて年
No
を重
matter how old I
ねて
get,
好きだった
I
曲を
enjoy re-listening to these songs I used to listen to when I was young.
聴く時の楽しさなんかをずっと噛み締めて、何度も好
I
きな
keep
バンドを
listening to them
繰り返し
over and over. Any last words to our viewers? Yeah, spill the beans about Love Bites, the drama. Oh, that meeting that Love Bites had, I'm sabotaging. No.
そうですね。今
See, if this was like an American band, there would be drama. There would be some sort of mic drop around this point. I think I'm getting fatter. Look at this. Like, oh yeah, you know Miyako? That was my band. But like, she stole it. I'm not saying she did. I'm saying if Miho conducted herself in an unprofessional manner, and it was all about like drama and stuff, like your typical American, that's how it'd be. It'd be very Jerry Springer-esque, which I'm glad it's not doing that.
こういった世界がコロナでコロナの登場
The
で
world
変
has definitely changed with COVID.
わってしまって、インターネットでいろんなバンドを
But I also feel it has
機会
given
が増
us
えた
more
と言っても
opportunities to
ちょ
discover
っと
new
あったの
bands
かなと
on
思って
the
いて、
internet.
そうですね、日本にもいっぱいいい
There
バ
are a
ンドがあ
lot
る
of
ので、
talented bands in
たくさん
Japan
見てい
too.
ただいて、
I urge
好きな
everyone to
ことを
find
ポイントだ
more
ったりア
bands
ピー
that
ルして
you
もらっ
like from
て、
Japan and to talk about them.
日本のバンドが
So we're doing a great service here by finding these bands, talking about these bands, kind of like showing the good songs they have, the great content there. It encourages people to find ways to find these bands live, to buy their merchandise. Anyway, so that was Miho's interview. very good. I'm going to take a quick break. Be right back.